Mid innings in the massive, major, fiery, whatever you want to call it, encounter between South Africa and New Zealand. Because this was one game that even when the draws came out, I'm sure most of us were looking forward to. And for what we've seen in the first 50 over, it's lived up to its billing, at least from the South African side, where they have gotten 357 in the 50 overs. Plenty of runs for Quinton de Kock, as has been the case this World Cup. 400?
Yeah. 400. Now only the third player to have gotten that. Sangakkara did it 2015. And thereafter it was Rohit in 2019. And at this point, if he keeps up this form, he may very well surpass even Rohit's 5.
Yeah, I agree. This is on course to go past Rohit Sharma's 5. Already got 4. Still has two
games after this.
2 league games and then semi-finals. So 3 games.
In Kolkata. And by the way, I was reading some of the comments of Snehasis Ganguly, who's the CAB chief. He says that, we've tried to keep the conditions here as such. Not just the pitch but the outfield as well. It's very green and we'll take care because we want high scoring matches here. Music to the ears of somebody like a Quinton.
Oh, it's not just CAB that is saying that. It's generally ICC tournaments that you need to have high scoring matches, which is what was the kind of diktat that was also given to the curators before the tournament started, where they were told like keep it in favor of the batters. And he says they want high scoring matches. That's interesting, though this game is being played in Pune, so we will only find out whether it is a high scoring game when India plays South Africa, because what we've seen so far in the tournament is that wherever India has played, unless you're playing Afghanistan, you haven't really had very high scoring matches. So I'd love to see how the Kolkata ground is when India plays South Africa. But even if it was a punching match between high scores between 2 batting lineups, I think India would still fancy their chances. That's how good they've been. But just coming back to the match, and I had just one question to ask everyone who's watching, and even Shane and Harshit can answer one by one. So South Africa, they have batted first before this game 4 times. Mm-hmm. So these are their scores in the 4 times that South Africa batted. 428, 311, 399, 382, followed by today 357. This is what South Africa has done when they have chased. They have chased twice. 207 all out, 271 for 9, where they barely chased their target. When you have these numbers in front of you, and if you are Latham and you go to the toss and you win a toss, do you tell South Africa to chase or do you tell South Africa to bat first?
Logic says you tell them to chase. Because even Temba has admitted that, we're trying to find ourselves as a chasing team. We're not that comfortable with it, which is ironic because I think in today's day and age, every team, if you ask them, they'll say, no, we want to know the runs in front of us. South Africa, the opposite. They have that old school mentality that, no, we want to play with no scoreboard pressure and we'll put runs on the board. And that's worked for them. Chasing, not so much.
So what was Latham thinking?
I'll tell you. I think the thought behind that is one, of course, the confidence from the fact that they gave Australia a good run for their money the other day. So they believe that they can chase a total in excess of 350. That's number 1. 2, I think, is the fact that the 2 previous matches that you've seen at the Pune stadium, you've seen the chasing team win both those matches with rather ease, I would say. There wasn't any discomfort for Afghanistan beating Sri Lanka, nor for India beating Bangladesh. India winning in the 42nd, I think Afghanistan winning in the 44th over. So that's what we've seen, and both teams having plenty of wickets also to spare after that. Tells me that yes, conditions ease under lights at this stadium given what we've seen so far, and the fact, like I mentioned earlier, the fact that this New Zealand side does believe that on true surfaces they have the firepower to chase down totals. They did it against Australia, they backed themselves to do it again today.
While I agree, okay, fine, these could be valid reasons, as Harshit says. Maybe those are the reasons that South Africa may have thought of. That's what they want to do. But I'm just seeing like it would work. So these reasons is when I'm in a, what does that tell you? Let's say all these reasons that you put together, and if I'm the captain or team management going for a game, I'm going to be like, okay, these things tell me that I should be chasing. So it gives me a slight advantage. But I think when I know I'm up against a team like South Africa, which, as Shane just pointed out, have accepted themselves, they have no clue what they need to do when they're chasing. And the team that we've seen now in the 6 matches before this, what they've done, I'm going to be like, okay, that slight advantage that I was going to get, if it's a 50-50 game with all these, my performances, the ground, whatever, takes me 55-45 or whatever. But the way the South African team is, I'm going to bat first. Because if I was to even touch 300, which this New Zealand batting side would have or is capable of, I don't think this South African team have it in them, no matter how good the conditions become, no matter what the ground record has been in this tournament. I would have seen it this way, that I would have, if I weighed my pros and cons, would have seen more pros in getting South Africa to chase than seeing my strengths of will I be able to chase.
Thing over there is, again, 2 thoughts to that as well. One, of course, you could look at it this way, that one, I'm going to back myself, I'm going to back my strengths. I feel I have the firepower, I have the bench strength to be able to chase down a given total. 1. 2 is the fact that I could also be looking at, let's say, okay, South Africa, margin of victories, and I know that they thrive batting first. And maybe those 2 losses, rather that 1 loss and that, very close loss, which was eventually a win, let's say, for them, I could look at that, let's say, a bit of an anomaly as well for a team that's firing, on all cylinders on most days, probably gets it wrong against the Netherlands. Okay, you will say that, okay, as an exception. 2, they did manage. That's not to say that, going forward, they will not manage it in the future as well. So why do I want to take that chance?
I don't know. I think in today's day and age, one of the key reasons why a lot of teams prefer chasing is because, one, they want to know, and now I think most teams by default, and if not necessarily teams, even players, thanks to the infiltration of stuff like T20 leagues and the amount of short ball, the amount of, let's say, cricket you're playing in the shortest format, you tend to have just kind of gone into that mold where you prefer chasing. Which is why I don't understand why South Africa are an anomaly. No idea in today's day and age, especially when you look at their middle order. It's pretty much all T20 level hitters. So you'd think they'd be able to do that, but one of the other reasons why you're so happy winning the toss is because you can play on the opposition's weakness as well. There's a clear and obvious time to say, no, we'll bat first. We back our batters. We have 8 of them. You have Santner coming in at 8. We'll back ourselves, put about 370, 380, and we know that these guys they crumble under that pressure when it comes to chasing.
Yeah, I don't know. I repeat, if I were Latham and I have seen what South Africa have been doing, I tell them, boss, you are going to be chasing today. I'm batting first, putting 320, 330, and I think under pressure they would have crumbled. Today, not so. But kudos to South Africa. Firstly, we spoke about Quinton de Kock. What a run he's had in this tournament, form of his life. Another 100, 4th 100 of the World Cup. Very well could equal Rohit Sharma's record of 500s in a World Cup that we saw last time around. Rassie van der Dussen showed a glimpse of his talent in one game, but now he's also got you a big inning. So if you look at their batting lineup, Quinton's ticked a few boxes. Now Rassie van der Dussen has, Adam Markram has, Klaassen has, and the one guy who hadn't was David Miller. So I also like the fact what South Africa did today in terms of changing their batting order, sending David Miller earlier. What that does, one, you've got the base, so you can ask him to accelerate when he comes out to bat right at the death. And the second, he came in at the 40th over, Miller, so he had that much time. That was actually David Miller territory. So one, you've sent the right batter in that situation, and secondly, it also gives him a chance to get some form going, because he was the one batter who hadn't got too many runs. So now you might need him going forward in the tournament. So he gets you those runs. Klaassen, we know, has been giving you runs. I was a bit surprised Markram came as low as he did. Even if he had come at the spot where David Miller was, he's no mug with the bat, in the sense, it's not that he can't be an aggressor. It's not that he's an accumulator. True. We've seen Markram, not just in this World Cup, the series preceding that, those knocks that he played versus Australia. So he could have, but that also tells you the kind of firepower that South Africa has. They have multiple batters who can bat in that high gear, which is, get out, which is why they can be one team that can afford to start slowly, as they did today, consolidated start. where even someone like a Quinton de Kock, who usually plays very aggressive, was okay. And they thought, even so was Rassi.
Yeah.
They said, it's okay, no problem. Let's go to the 30th over mark, run a ball, easy cricket. Because from there, with a Markram, a Miller, a Klaassen coming in, and might I add, even Janssen, all of them coming in, who can really tonk it and get you at 160, 70, 200 strike rate. We're definitely going to go well above 300, and that's exactly what South Africa has done, clearly showing their batting prowess.
Also, I think, just to add to your point of why exactly, was David Miller moved up, I think part of the reason also is because Santer was operating that time, and maybe you wanted that, you wanted a left-hander there on the crease to be able to negate Santner, just put some pressure back as well. So probably that was the thought as well.
Another thing is that at that point, Ravindra had only bowled 2 overs. I think they were saying that they might seeing how effective Santner was, bring on another spinner even if that was a risk. Said no, let's negate that idea with another left-hander. They didn't give Rachin Ravindra another over. Although the fact that in his 2 overs he went for 17 runs probably also had something to do with that.
Though I think one thing that's gone against New Zealand in this game is the injury to Matt Henry, and previously the injury to Lockie Ferguson. So in that sense, they've been a bit hampered, New Zealand. And let's not forget that even Kane Williamson has been out. So they are actually dealing with 3 major injury blows. For us here in India, once Hardik Pandya went out, we were kind of panicking.
We had to make 2 changes.
Yeah. So imagine this is a New Zealand team where their 3 starters are injured for this game. One of them got to bowl 5 overs. So I think that's also hampered them a bit. Maybe when they put South Africa to bat first, and I agree that maybe they fancied themselves to chase because batting would get easier. But they obviously didn't bargain for 357. And maybe if Matt Henry was around, bowling his full quota of 10, maybe picks up a wicket here and there, which he has been doing in the World Cup. It goes to 330 or 20 or thereabout and not 57, where it's gone now. Maybe if Lockie was around and Saudi doesn't come in. And as experienced Saudi is, we know that he can be expensive. He picks up wickets, but he can be expensive. If you've even seen him in the IPL, you'll know that in white ball cricket, he can be expensive. I know he's the test captain, but in white ball cricket has been. So I think these 2 injury blows have also, in a way, helped South Africa get to 357, apart from some outstanding batting that South Africa has done. Now the question though is going to be, can they chase it? We've seen them almost chase 307. How much was the Australia game?
380.
It was 380 or something like
380,
that, if I'm not mistaken. Which is much higher than this, by the way.
Checking.
Almost chased it. 368 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, almost chased it. Are they chasing? That was a different ground.
That was 389. They were put into chase. 383.
390 if they chased, which is way above what they are here.
Fell just 5 short. Just 5 short.
Yeah. So what do you think? Chasing it?
I had actually predicted in the pre-match that they'd get to about 345, got a little higher, but then New Zealand would win.
Woo!
I think it's a good batting round. The first 2 games we played here, we haven't seen that for one very simple reason that both it was Bangladesh and Sri Lanka who kind of got bundled out for low totals, had very little to do with the conditions.
Wow.
So I do think it's a good batting strip, and I think New Zealand can chase it.
So if Shane's prediction comes good, I hope it does, because what that means is we're in for a cracker. So purely as a neutral, that'll be a match and a half to watch. So wow, 357. He still feels New Zealand can chase it.
I feel
Rohit?
the same.
Rohit feels the same.
Same. Again, very true. And when you look at the South African,
just to stop you there, just because both of you are saying, do you know that a total as big as this
has never been chased.
In World Cup history?
Not surprising.
But even 340 the other day, Pakistan made it look easy against Sri Lanka. But I'm just saying, given how true
so you're saying a world. See, what you're predicting is a world record. No matter what, you're predicting is a world record in World Cups, never been chased, and both of you so confidently. I mean, that's a rare thing, right?
It's
even if Usain Bolt is running, I can say he can win a gold. Will he get a world record? I won't be that confident. You guys are saying a world record is happening with so much confidence. That's a lot of faith.
See, basing it on 2 things. One, of course, it looks like, again, we've got, let's say, the last 2 games to suggest that, batting does firstly become easier in the second innings. Point number 1. 2, I don't see South Africa having, let's say, somebody who's a prodigious turner of the ball. There's not someone, and nor does this pitch offer a lot of turn anyway. So hitting through the line should become, should play well for this New Zealand side. The likes of Rachin Ravindran may not actually need to take additional risks, like we saw in the previous game as well. Rachin wasn't taking additional risks, just hitting through the line and punishing the odd ball. That's all that was happening. Should be easy.
So two of them here predicting a New Zealand victory, and ideally I should take the more safer approach by saying once a team puts 357, more often than not you back the team to win. Easier option. But I also take the out of the box option, which is the New Zealand win, just because I really want to see a good game of cricket
and a world record.
And a world record. Let's hear what everyone else is saying. Shivam, we can take a few questions before we wind up. Saida, to share your memories with VVS Lakshman. Well, I must say, very happy birthday to VVS Lakshman. I did wish him, and he's replied back saying thank you so much for your wishes. My memories with him, I've had the pleasure of covering him for many years. One of the nicest guys that I've ever met. So sweet, I can't tell you. I've interviewed him on various occasions. I will never forget the 100 he got at St. Kitts, interviewing after that. New Zealand tour 2009, he was outstanding. His knocks, a few interviews I did of him. But I'll always remember one very special thing, that I got a call from him once and he said, can you come to Hyderabad on such and such day? Are you free? And I said, yeah, sure. What is it? So he said, my wife and my charity, we're having a dinner, and I wanted someone to moderate a session with me and my wife to a dinner audience, and then followed by the Sunrisers Hyderabad team of another session with Yuvraj and Muthaiya Muralidhar and Tom Moody, all of them. So would you be, I said, come on. For VVS, anything.
Neki aur pooch pooch.
Exactly. So I went down to Hyderabad for just a day, and I did so. Met his family, his two kids, very sweet. Spent a lot of time, did that session. Amazing guy. Then later I got to work a lot more with him. I worked with him later as an analyst in my previous workplace. Two previous workplaces, interestingly. Both places he came on as an expert. So we spent a lot of time with him. Amazing guy. His stories, his love for the game. He's quite funny as well, which you don't see that funny side of his. But if you spend some time with him in the lounge, then you'll realize. I don't think I have put a picture of that what you're looking for. Have I? Shivam? I can't remember. Actually, I can't remember. I may have, maybe not. I don't know. So amazing guy, and what can I say? One of my, and I'm not saying it because it's his birthday. He's actually, if I was to pick my top 5 favorite batters of all time Indian, he's going to make it. So that's what I'll say, because I always love players that play on the back foot, and I just loved his batting style, always on the back. How he played spinners on the back foot, that was my favorite. Whether he plays them on the offside, leg side, whatever. So he's my all-time top 5 favorite batters from India, for sure. So yeah, what else? More questions? Shivam, I don't think I have. No, I don't think. I think I have. I know what you're talking about. Must be from a show or something. Okay, GGK says, already feeling sad for QDK. He will be gutted when his last ODI they lose to us in the World Cup final. GGK, don't jump the gun.
Hold your horses.
Long way away. Siddharth says, one thing I want to ask, why do New Zealand keep couple of overs of Nisham at the death for self-immolation?
To be fair, they didn't have
That's
many
not our
options.
man, no?
No. To be fair, they don't have that many options. They don't.
Yeah, but why do they bring him at the death only?
I mean, I think actually the problem today was they were not sure whether Henry would have been fit. Could he have come back to bowl?
But if I remember last game that they played against Australia, they did the same thing.
That's terrible. That's a bad tactic. Although, also another thing which really hurt them, their one death bowler, Lockie Ferguson, getting injured. Because otherwise, we have even Henry, Bolt, and Saudi, the same bowlers.
By the way, they got Nisham because Ferguson got injured.
Yeah.
Last game.
Right.
Yeah.
So both times it's because of injury.
Because of an injury.
Yeah.
And poor guy, every single time is thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Nikhil wants to know, how has the crowd suddenly started coming in? That's because the interest in the World Cup is growing.
Yeah.
That's why.
And it's a very big match.
And bigger matches are coming now, right? And also the games now have context.
Significance, yeah.
Yeah, what is going to happen, who's winning, who's losing, this and that. So that's why the crowd is coming in. On that note, we'll have to wind up because we've got a television show to go. So thanks for your company. I know it's an abrupt ending of the show. We usually take more questions, but we have to do another show. Some of those things will be up on Sports Today shortly, but we'll see you at the end of the game. Hoping for a good game. See you at the end of the game. For the moment, bye-bye from all of us. Take care. See you. Vanakkam.
Nandri.